So in order to pass different values to the function, there is a thing called parameters and arguments. For example, here I define a new function. I'll call it print name. Okay. Remember, I'm not calling it, I'm not naming it as print any particular name. So I'm just saying print name. Okay. And here, let's say print. So we'll say the name is, let's also format it. And here we'll write the brackets. Okay. Here I'll say name. I'll write name in these brackets. Now from where this name will come, what is this name? For now, you can consider this name contains that name that we want to print. Okay. So this name variable contains that name. So I'll write name over here. Okay. So what is actually happening? From somewhere, this function is getting this name, variable name, and we are simply printing this name out. So if this name is Zia, it will print Zia. If this name is AI Sciences, it will print AI Sciences, and so on and so forth. Okay, now, how to call this function? Simple. We'll say print name, exactly the same way, then parenthesis. Now, inside the parenthesis, we have to pass the values. Okay, so here, if I say Zia, what will happen? This string will be stored over here in the variable name. So actually, it will be translated behind the scenes. It will be translated like this: name equals to Zia. Right? This is how it will work. This is called argument, and we are passing it as a parameter to this function. Okay. We can also pass multiple arguments as well. I'll come to that thing in a minute, but right now let's run it. So here we go. It says the name is, which is a static string, and then here in this name, we are passing Zia from here, that is being received over here and then being printed over here. Let's write some other name, maybe AI. Let's just AI. So running it, so AI. Now, this name is equals to not Zia. Now this name is equals to AI. Why? Because from here, we are passing AI. Now you might be getting this point. If we will pass hello to this length function, it will get us the length of hello. If we will pass something else, maybe hello, blah, 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 it will get us the length of hello, blah, 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 right? Okay, so now if we want to write the replica of this function, right, just like the way we did over here, we can also do that. So I'll copy this and I'll say define, okay, so define get underscore length. I should not be writing it as len. Why? Because len is already a well-defined keyword, so I should name it something else. So I'll say get length. So it will receive some, let's say, variable, okay, or iterator, whatever it is. And then this is, let me indent this thing. Oh, come on. How do I do that? Okay, this is how I do. Cool. So instead of list, let's call it variable, whatever variable it is. And here, we'll say print the length. Okay. So if I run it, nothing happens. Why? Because I did not call this function. So if you allow me to call the function, I'll say get length. And here I'll pass, let's say, hello, and it will print out 5. Now, if I want to make any changes, if I want to print, do something like else, and then, come on, in the string, I'll write this thing. So since it is a variable name, so it will be in the brackets. So I'll say this variable name, then colon, and then another variable name, which is going to be this variable itself, which is var. Remember, this var should be here. Why? Because here we are receiving it as var. If we want to receive it here as something else, for example, I want to receive it as, let's say s, only s, right? So here it should also be s, and here it should also be s, because in the universe of this function has its own universe, right? So in the universe of this particular function, s variable is actually referring to hello, right? So if I run it, it says 5 is the length of hello, right? So this is how we can also customize different functions by using um, our own requirements, right? Cool. So far we have learned how we can use one argument, how we can pass one argument as a parameter to the function. What if we want to pass multiple arguments, right? So here, let me define a function that is called addition. So it will add two numbers as the name suggests. So first of all, we have number 1, and then comma, we can write the next parameter. And by doing this, the same procedure, we can write as many parameters as we want. But for now, we only have 2 parameters, right? So we want to add only 2 numbers, then colon, and then we'll say print number 1 plus number 2. Okay, simple. So whatever the number 1 will be passed from the function call will be the number 1. Whatever number 2 will be passed from the function call will be the number 2. So how do we pass the values from the function call? So we'll say, as usual, function name. First of all, let's say I want to add 5 and 6. So I'll write 5 and 6. Now the question is, 5 will be assigned to number 1 or number 2. And how about the 6? So the thing is, sequence matters a lot over here. The first value will be assigned to the first variable. So here, the translation should be like number 1 equals to, what is the first variable? What is the first argument over here? First argument is 5, so number 1 is going to be 5. And then number 2 is going to be 6, right? If I run it, so I got 11. Why? Because here I'm printing 11. Well, maybe the difference is not much clear over here. So what I will do is I'll write another function where the sequence of parameter would be clear. So define subtraction. Okay. So here, obviously, if I add 5, 6 or 6, 5, the result would be same, but result will not be the same for subtraction. So I'll say num1 and num2 over here. So we have 2 numbers. And then here I'll say print num1 minus num2. Okay. So here if I say subtraction, and I pass again 2 numbers, 5 and 6. Now, if I subtract 6 from 5, which is happening over here, so num2 is going to be 6, right? So 5 minus 6 is going to be minus 1, right? So running it, we got minus 1. If I change the numbering over here, the sequence over here, instead of 5 and 6, I make it 6 and 5. Now, number 1 should be 6, number 2 should be 5. So 6 minus 5 is going to be positive 1. Running it, so here we go. We got positive 1. Now, by doing this, you can pass as many number of parameters to this function as you want. Okay. Now, you might be wondering that we are only working with the print statements over here in the functions. Is there anything else that we can do? I mentioned about returning the values from here when we learned about the built-in functions. I mentioned that we can also return some values, or functions are returning the values. So this return is a very important keyword. What is the importance of this keyword? Let's learn in next video.